everyone, Reaper here again with another video. Not a comic book haul video, but just sort of a response video to a new YouTuber that's he was recently subscribed to me. His name is Dead. Uh, I'll put his name down in the description for this video. But basically, his latest video, he was asking those that were watching, what do you think about getting books graded? Now, I know this is a topic that has been covered extensively by a lot of people in the community. Some people, like ETA Nick and Arkham Comics Las Vegas, Dan, have done a wonderful job talking about grading books and their opinions or their rants on CGC or grading and all that stuff. So I would say to anybody, even Dead, if you want to see a really in-depth video or videos on if you should get books graded and so forth and so on, I would watch one of those guys' videos, and I'm sure there's so many other great YouTubers that covered this that are just escaping me right now. But I thought I would, chime in a little bit about the subject. It's not going to be a very long video. This is actually going to be just one of two videos I plan to make today. So you'll see me in the same clothes. But I thought I would just give you, and for those that are watching that have these questions that come across this video, why I would get something graded or when I would get something graded. Honestly, I don't have too many graded books in my collection. Now, I have over 20 books. That might seem like a lot for some people, but I don't think so. I don't think that's a lot of slabs. Mostly they're CGC, but that's just by coincidence. It's not because I choose to go with CGC over PGX or over Vault. I don't know, is Vault still around? I'm not sure. Or CBCS. That's just the way it. I see more of those out, and I just happen to buy more of those than from the other companies. But yeah, I have like maybe between 20 and 25 books. I haven't really counted. I've traded some, so I've lost some. But I really, for me, when it comes to getting books graded, the majority of the books I have graded, I bought graded. And it wasn't because I was out there looking for a graded book. It just so happened that the book that I was looking for was graded. If I would have found that book raw, I would have bought it raw, like my Detective 140. I wasn't out there looking for a Detective 140 graded. Oh, I need it graded. No, if I would have seen one that was ungraded, I would have bought it. But some people, this is just one point, some people, I can't speak for everybody, but these are some of the things that I've heard. Some people get books graded or look for graded books to detect or avoid restoration. I've talked about restoration. ETA Nick has recently talked about restoration in one of his latest videos. Check that out, it's really good. For some people, restoration's a problem. And it's definitely a will never get sort of thing. I was like that too at one point. If you ever watched one of my earlier videos, I think I said, I would never get a restored book. Well, times have changed. But I think that just, depending on what kind of collector, we all go through phases. And we sometimes grow in different paths. I went on the path of, restoration. I don't mind it so much with certain things. But that's a topic for another video. But Dead, excuse me. And for others that are curious, I think that's one of the big things. They want to get their. This is a book I'm going to show in another video. They want to say, I got the first appearance of Rogue. I want to get this graded. Maybe I want to get it graded to see if it has any restoration. Or I want to buy an Avengers Annual number 10, the first appearance of Rogue, but I don't want to get it raw. I want to get it graded to see, to make sure there's no restoration. So that's probably one of the big things why people buy slabs, or one of the things they consider when they want to get a book slabbed, to avoid that, to find out restoration, to avoid restoration, all that. Another thing, I think, for some people, the reason why they would want to get books slabbed is because maybe they want to flip them. There are flippers, and that's cool too. A hot book is out, they want to get it graded, they want to get it pressed then graded, and flip it and make the most amount of money on it as possible. So that's another reason why I think some people would see worth in getting a book graded. Now for me, getting to the way I look at things, and I'll show a couple examples, I have a few here, why I'm a collector. I am not a flipper. Yes, I've sold books in the past which helped me buy more books. I've never sold a book to pay a bill or anything like that, or sadly never to put anything in the account. But when I've sold books, it was because I either wanted to upgrade that particular book to a better grade, or I wanted just to get rid of it to get a different book altogether. That's the only reason why I flip books. And a lot of people do that too, to do exactly what I've done, to get better books or to get an upgrade of a certain book. And that's great too. But mainly most of the books I have, I buy, I keep them. So I don't really look at it as, I got to get this book graded. But there are some that have the high-valued books and would like them to be protected. And Arkham Comics Las Vegas said this in one of his videos. Yeah, there are some people that have Golden Age books that are very delicate, that want to make sure they're protected, and to get them slabbed would probably be one of the best ways to get them to keep them protected, to keep them in the shape they are in for as long as, they can be in that shape. So, if you have a book that is very valuable to you, whatever it is, I'll get into another point about this, but if you have a book that's very valuable to you, for whatever reason, means something to you, it's worth a lot of money, and you're really interested in keeping it in the shape that it's in, you might want to get it slabbed. For me, I've only gotten 3 books slabbed. Like I said, most of the collection that I have that's slabbed, I bought slabbed, and it just so happened that that was the book I was looking for. I didn't purposely go out to find or to buy a slab book. But I've only slabbed 3 books, and I'll show them to you right now. And see if you could answer, if you could look at them and say to yourselves, why did he get those books slabbed? See if you could come up with that answer by looking at them. Okay. All right, sorry for the glare. Okay, we have the Crow number 1, 8.5. Amazing Spider-Man 361, 9.6. And the last book that I had slabbed, X-Men number 1, 3.0. What do all 3 of those books have in common? What does X-Men number 1 have in common with Crow number 1? What does Crow number 1 have in common with Amazing Spider-Man 361? Well, other than the fact they all have 1s in them, to some extent. No, they were all signed. I was at cons. I had the books raw. I would have kept them raw, but I wanted these books signed. I had X-Men number 1 signed by Stan Lee, Amazing Spider-Man 361, which was part of my original first batch of books I got back in 1993 when I first started collecting. More on that in my next video. I got that signed by Mark Bagley, and Crow number 1 I got signed by James O'Barr. That's the reason why I got them slabbed, because I wanted the witness, I wanted the authenticity that yes, Stan Lee actually signed it, yes, James O'Barr actually signed it, yes, Mark Bagley actually signed it. And the best way to do that was I had a witness stand with me online, and I gave it to, he saw them signed, and I had them slabbed. That's the only reason why I did it. So that's the reason why I would get something slabbed. But there are some books in my collection that I would like slabbed because I would want to keep them protected. Very few. And there's a few that have yet to show up in comic book hauls that you'll see. But that's the reason why I would get something slabbed. Like I said, I'm not really that much of a flipper, when it comes to books. But Yeah, it's a good idea if you have a really, really valuable book. Valuable can mean a lot of different things, money or to you. You want to get it, you know, you want to protect it, make sure it stays protected, then it might be a good idea to get it slapped. For me now, I'm gonna close this video because I think it went on a little too long and I think I rambled on a little too much. I want to prevent some more rambling. Um, when it comes to get what type of other, if you're looking for, okay, I have books that are valuable to me, but should I get a modern book slabbed? Well, you know, you can do what you want to do. It's up to you. But for me, if it comes down to where, well, I'm a little iffy on slabbing, but should I get, you know, this latest Walking Dead book slabbed? I would say no. Because I don't believe that some modern books, there's always an exception, okay? But I believe that most modern books don't hold their value, if that's what you're looking for. Like, oh, is this going to be really valuable? I don't think so. That's just my experience collecting almost, what is it? Almost, I'll be approaching 30 years in a few years, but that's just me. You may agree with me, you may not agree with me, that's fine. But that's just my experience. That's just the way I look at it. It doesn't mean it's right for you. But that's just some of the guidelines I follow. You know, I wouldn't necessarily, I'm not quick to jump on getting a modern book slabbed unless I had it signed. Like, I would consider, personally the Amazing Spider-Man 361 and The Crow #1. Although they came out late 80s, early 90s, I would consider them modern. But I wouldn't get a real modern book unless it's a valuable variant. Now that's a different story now. I wouldn't get them slabbed. I would stick with getting some of the older books slabbed if you have older books like a Fantastic Four #1 or Amazing Spider-Man, you know, some of those early ones, and some really good Bronze Age books. Like, you know, a lot of people like to get their Incredible Hulk 181 slabbed. I can understand that, but like a Batman Rebirth #6, no, because they should all be 9.8s. If you're looking to get, you know, for grades, they should all be 9.8s to begin with. You know, some of the older books are harder to find in higher grades. So I don't know if this helped. It was just something, a spur of the moment video. I'm planning to do my comic history video. I mean, I know I still have another haul to come out. That'll be out in a few weeks. That'll be my 3rd anniversary on YouTube. Yay. That'll be out in a few weeks, but I would like to release my comic history video coming out. I'm probably going to make it like right after this video. But I thought I'd make this video just for people out there, and for in a response to Wilkin Dead. I watched his video today. I thought it was pretty good, and you know, it's questions a lot of people have about, you know, should I get my books graded? So I hope this helped. If it did, I'm glad. If it didn't, I'm sorry. But leave comments. Let me know what you think. Okay. Well, see you soon. Take care, everyone.